Hey, Angie Fenimore here. This is Fat Chat with my writing coach. So, I promise we're not talking about politics. We're really not. We're talking about storytelling tonight, and we're going to just use politics as an example because of everything going on in the news right now, everything going on politically right now. This is just like I can't pass up this momentous opportunity. So, first of all, um, what we've got is that Donald Trump has been diagnosed with COVID along with the First Lady. And he has been saying all along, masks, no masks, not that big a deal. It's just going to go away, right? And then he took a little stronger stance. So if you look at this from storytelling, especially those of you who are really pulling for Biden and you think that this is an advantage, I get news for you. Look from storytelling, okay? Um, if you are in the camp where, uh, you know, President Trump is evil incarnate, he's Darth Vader. What did it take for us to get on board and get Anakin's uh, origin story? It took one moment where they peeled off Darth Vader's mask, and what they get is a decrepit old man in there, right? And suddenly the audience has sympathy, right? We get just enough sympathy that we can get on board for an origin story, right? Okay. So, in storytelling, if you don't have an antagonist, you don't have a story. If you don't have conflict, there is no story. Um, we're going to talk about the two-party system in a minute, and because everybody scratches their heads, how come we only have a two-party system? We actually don't, by the way. We have over 20 candidates on the presidential ballot in 2020. So it's on us voters that we're choosing between two, okay? Because we pull for story, because we want a bad guy and a good guy. That's human nature. That's what we want. All right, so let's talk about. I'm just going to give you this total fire hose. Okay. If you really want to learn storytelling, you want to do um, the Submission Possible series. It's complete, it's extraordinary, and I go into great detail about how to tell stories such that it's marketable and praiseworthy. How to do both of those things. Okay, but we're going to talk just a little bit about character roles and functions. An effective story has the head honcho, the person who we're writing the story through their eyes, the point of view character. We must be on board. They must, I'm not going to say they must be likable because there are a lot of anti heroes that we pull for, but we've got to be able to get on board and we've got to have enough reason that we want them to win. Okay. We've got to have what I call a head honcho. And then you've got to have a bad guy. You got to have somebody on the other side that we're not rooting for. Okay. And then a really excellent story is going to have a sacrificial lamb, somebody that dies or doesn't come around, goes to the dark side, whatever, we lose them to whatever at about three-quarters of the way through the story. Okay, just be thinking about stories that you're familiar with, stories that you love, and just see if this isn't true. Okay, and then we have what's called the Benedict Arnold. And the Benedict Arnold's job is to betray. Now, in a lot of our minds, Trump has been the Benedict Arnold, betrayed us, right? Okay, that's just like where people are standing. A lot of people, probably, I'd say the majority of people right now. So, what's really effective in storytelling, super effective, is if you take your Benedict Arnold and at that third triphase cycle, you give us enough reason to get on board. We get a little bit of a backstory that explains how he became the way that he is, or he does something where he sacrifices himself. He becomes the sacrificial lamb, okay, for the story to move forward. This is a really effective device. You'll see it a lot. And this is why If you are thinking that because the president has COVID right now, that all of a sudden that means that, the Democratic candidate Biden is going to win, I'm telling you, watch. Just watch, because what it will tend to do is create sympathy. Okay? Sympathy is what. Just watch for it. Okay? See if I'm right. All right. So let's talk about why it is we have a two-party system and storytelling, why we pull for this. So I'm looking here at all these candidates that are on the ticket. So the night of the debate, Jo Jorgensen's website crashed. She's the Libertarian Party candidate, and she has the Libertarian Party has access to all 538 electoral votes. She's right up there. Green Party, their website also crashed, okay, with Howie Hawkins representing the Green Party. And the Green Party, um, Howie Hawkins, his ballot has access to fewer than 538 electoral votes, but at least 270 electoral votes, okay? Now, it gets less and less and less, but there's like 6 candidates here that are independent. There's Socialism and Libertarian, or Liberation, I'm sorry, Alliance Party, Constitution Party. Um, there's the American Solidarity Party, Socialist Workers Party, Unity Party, Prohibition Party, Progressive Party. There's the Bread and Roses Party. I'm really curious about that platform. And then there's Kanye West, who's on the birthday party. Okay. All right. So we actually don't have a two-party system. What we have are voters who love story, and we love to have an antagonist, and we love to have an underdog. We do. We pull for it because storytelling, to be effective, is actually about symmetry. Okay, it's always about these opposites and making sure that you're creating this stretch and then you're coming back together, giving us some reprieve, some relief, and then stretch and then back and then stretch and then back. I just recently watched The Invisible Man with Elizabeth Moss, and when it first was released, it was getting some like really horrific reviews, and I couldn't figure out how come it's like 5.3. I wanted to watch it, but I waited until it was free. And you know, A Quiet Place, I don't know. I think it's like 9.2 on IMDb. I don't know, but it's phenomenal. Really well done. So I'm watching um, The Invisible Man, looking from what did they do wrong? How come viewers weren't so on board? It's kind of recovered. I think it's at about 7.2 right now on IMDb. But here's what they did. They took us on that ride. They gave us that stretch, but they didn't give us any relief. So we just went to the top of the ride and stayed there. I created my own relief. Like I got up every now and then and I like listened in while I was organizing my closet for 5 minutes. So I got my reprieve. So I actually would have given it a 7.5, but then I built in what I needed as a consumer of story so that I could completely enjoy the story. Okay. Um, so we've got to have both that stretch and release, stretch and release, stretch and release. Why do you think Harry Potter is just this crazy, phenomenal success? It's because our main character, our point of view character, Harry Potter, is the boy who lives in the cupboard under the stairs and he's orphaned. Okay, so we have that before, you know, he becomes this, you're a wizard, Harry, this really powerful wizard, or it's revealed that he always was, right? We must have those opposites. It wouldn't work if he was not the underdog. Okay. All right. So there it is in a nutshell. Um, so yeah, very good point, Melissa, is the Grinch. That's a really, really good example that we get on board with the Grinch, don't we? Because his heart grows. And how does that happen? Cindy Lou Who. Okay. You've all heard about Save the Cat, I'm sure. It's not that simple. You can't just go pet a cat and it's fine and it's all forgiven. There's got to be some kind of a transformation that happens with Abominable too. We see it with Abominable in Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. right? Doesn't take much. Okay. So here's my point. This isn't a political conversation. This is a conversation about storytelling. And having said that, you know, um, I also want to just say, like, do your research, be informed, right? Find out. Find out what these different parties stand for. You know, find out what your candidate stands for. and and vote your heart. I've always voted my heart, and it's no secret that absolutely, I was devastated when Trump won the election. I was like, I thought we were so much further along as far as social injustice, and I was shocked that we weren't further along as a nation in you know being concerned for our for neighbors, and taking care of those that are less fortunate. But I will tell you, I've always just voted my conscience, always. I think it was 2012 when, if, I might be wrong about that, but I think it was 2012 when Mitt Romney was running against President Obama, and I was in line to vote, and I still hadn't decided at that point who I was voting for, because I knew both of those men in my heart. Like, I didn't know, no, but you know, I had the experience that both of them had my best interest in mind and the best interest of our country in mind. So, having said that, I just like your challenge tonight is be informed AF. Be informed, find out, right? And don't do just what your neighbors are doing. Don't do just what you think. Like, go find out and go with an open mind. Learn newly. Okay? Learn newly. And vote like your rights, your liberties are on the line, because they are. Okay? All right. That's all I got for you tonight. And um and I do hope that everything goes well. And this is a horrible thing, COVID. Wear your masks, okay? Wear your masks. And don't punch me if I tell you, if I see you in the grocery store and I say, hey, mask up and 6 feet, please. Please don't punch me, because that's me in a grocery store. Because some of us are high risk, and science is real. So there you go. All right, be informed AF, and ciao for now.